Today, cryptocurrencies kick off the new month in the red. A Manhattan federal judge says some crypto tokens are securities. And Bittrex Global CEO Oliver Linch weighs in on what Worldcoin's new identity feature implies for the crypto sector. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Mackenzie Sigalos. The crypto market is kicking off August in the red as investors still try to make sense of the Curve finance hack, plus a new federal court ruling that asserts some crypto tokens are in fact securities. We'll talk about that in just a second. By noon Eastern, Bitcoin dropped below $29,000, Ether traded around $18.30, while Ripple's XRP token fell to 69 cents. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. A Manhattan federal judge just ruled that some cryptocurrencies are securities, contradicting an earlier ruling in the court case between Ripple and the SEC. Now, this separate case was meant to decide whether the SEC can pursue securities fraud charges against Terraform Labs co-founder Do Kwon, and he will face those charges. But it also likely sets up an appeal by the SEC over the ruling last month that Ripple's XRP token is not a security in all instances. In the new ruling, Judge Rakoff said, quote, "The court declines to draw a distinction between these coins based on their manner of sale, such that coins sold directly to institutional investors are considered securities and those sold through secondary market transactions to retail investors are not." In doing so, the court rejects the approach recently adopted by another judge of this district in a similar case. The contradicting opinion comes as the SEC is also pursuing legal action against crypto businesses like Coinbase, and that case hinges on whether it listed unregistered crypto securities or not. Coinbase's stock plummeted after the opening bell this morning. Next, Justin Sun is stepping in to help Curve finance. We told you yesterday that hackers drained millions from the DeFi exchange's liquidity pools, and now the founder of Tron is pouring millions of dollars back into the platform. According to blockchain data on Etherscan, Justin Sun received about 5 million Curve tokens, worth roughly $2.5 million. Sun posted this morning that he was excited to assist Curve and that he remained committed to providing support whenever needed. Last, Binance has relaunched in Japan. In a blog post this morning, the crypto exchange announced the launch of a dedicated platform for Japanese residents. Users have access to 34 crypto tokens for spot trading and access to Binance Japan's Earn products. The new platform is built off a local exchange that Binance acquired back in November of last year and helps bring the business under compliance with Japan's registration laws. The launch also comes as Japan has doubled down on the promise of Web3, including an announcement from the country's prime minister last month that the Japanese government would expand policy to promote Web3 development. All right, on to our main story. OpenAI's Sam Altman launched his crypto project, Worldcoin, last week. Now, its key feature is a digital identity service, which has sparked some criticism related to privacy. That feature even led some regulators, including those in the UK, to look into the project. Crypto World's Talia Kaplan spoke with Oliver Linch, CEO and general counsel at Bittrex Global, about what Worldcoin's new identity feature implies for the digital assets sector.
Worldcoin went live last week, and its digital identity service has faced some criticism over privacy concerns. Yesterday, we learned that several countries in Europe, including Germany and France, are investigating the project. That's according to Reuters. And last week, the UK's data watchdog told CNBC it's looking into the launch of Worldcoin. The Information Commissioner's Office also said that organizations must conduct a data protection impact assessment before any processing that is likely to result in high risk, like special category biometric data. Now, you're speaking with us from the UK today, so I'm hoping to get your reaction to this new Worldcoin project. What do you think about those privacy concerns, including those from regulators in your country?
Well, what's really interesting is that there seems to be privacy is the word of the moment, right? The objective, the driver behind the whole project is actually privacy, or at least protection of data. And what the founders of the project are saying is this is a way that we have found to move the conversation on how we secure access and how we ensure that people accessing their online personas in whatever form that takes are the real people and are not AI and are not bots. But it's that very same sword, which turns out to be double-edged, which gives rise to the concern about data on the other side of things namely the potential for losses or hacks or breaches or whatever it is. So it's the age-old discussion of how to provide secure access to your systems without creating an incentive for or a system where that data can be lost. So it's a really interesting move forward in the discussion, and I don't think it's as straightforward as saying, oh, they're collecting loads of personal data, this must be scary. The question is always, what are they collecting and why are they collecting it? How are they processing it? And how are they protecting it?
Now, it's important to point out that we reached out to Worldcoin for comment last week on those privacy concerns and inquiries. A spokesperson told us that the Worldcoin Foundation complies with all laws and regulations governing the processing of personal data in the markets where Worldcoin is available, including the General Data Protection Regulation and the UK Data Protection Act. It stressed that from its inception, Worldcoin was designed to protect individual privacy, adding that the project has built a robust privacy program, which includes conducting a, quote, rigorous data protection impact assessments and providing timely responses to individual requests to delete personal data. What do you make of Worldcoin's statement?
Well, it's exactly what one would expect to hear of a company that's taking privacy seriously. You know, they're incredibly intelligent, well-plugged, well-educated in the area of law. What's really interesting, though, is from my perspective, and I come at this from the Bittrex Global's perspective as a participant in the market, but with no particular dog in this particular fight, is what's driving the sentiment behind it. And the overall impact is security. Both sides, if you want to call it sides, claim the security high ground, claim the privacy high ground. But actually, what we find is developments happen and protections are available most successfully when people are not entrenched in their position and people actually have discussions. And what's great about the technology that we're working with now is you can actually go have a look at the code. You know, all the hardware is open source, most of the software is open source, and there are discussions being had about, you know, how to test those statements of Worldcoin and how to actually challenge them, raise issues, and see how they respond to those issues. So I think it's now we move to a stage in the discussion where it's not enough just to assert things; you need to demonstrate them. And Worldcoin seem to be doing signaling to the market that they're up for those discussions, and that can be really exciting, really interesting, and finally gets the market talking about the thing that Bittrex Global has been talking about for ages, which is the importance of security when it comes to accessing your online presence.
And you touched on this, but does Worldcoin's new identity feature have any implications for the crypto sector in general? And do you think the addition of biometric data on a decentralized blockchain can help or restrict the industry's ability to keep user data secure? What would you say?
Well, that's the $1 million question, right? I mean, the fact is people are pushing the boundaries of what we can do and how we can really protect users. And that's ultimately what it's all about. We at Bittrex Global are incredibly proud of our record of protecting our users' data. The founders of Bittrex are security engineers. That's what they do. That's their background. There's kind of why they set up Bittrex in the very first place was they looked at the solutions that were out there and realized that they kind of sucked from a security perspective, so they created their own. That was a decade ago, nearly a decade ago. The conversation has moved on a lot since then, and initiatives like this can be seen as part of that wider dialogue. So I think that there's some really interesting discussions to be had. Is this the solution? Is it something that's coming around the corner? I don't know. I wish I did know. But I think having that conversation is incredibly useful and really gets the whole industry thinking about that key issue of security.
Following the launch of Worldcoin, do you think we'll see more projects that incorporate AI and digital assets? What is your outlook, especially amid the backdrop of these privacy concerns?
Yeah, I think it's undeniable that this is going to kickstart a whole bunch of initiatives. And I'm really excited to see what those look like, because that's when technology is at its best. To think that we've solved all of these issues some time ago would be naive. Like, unfortunately, it's the case that bad actors continue innovating. So that means that we, good actors, have to continue to innovate too. Exactly what form that will take, well, that's a discussion that will be developed over the coming weeks, months, and frankly, years. But it's not a stationary target. you've always got to be weighing up those competing concerns of protection of data and protection of accounts. And the fact is, the more data you collect in order to protect accounts, the bigger a target you place on that for bad actors and hackers and all the rest of it. So, this is a dynamic discussion, but one that I think is going to be absolutely critical to the sector going forwards.
Oliver Linch also provided an update on the SEC case against Bittrex US and Bittrex Global. You'll be able to catch his full interview on cnbc.com/Crypto World. Okay, that's all for Crypto World today, but we will be back again tomorrow, so we'll see you then.